Someone tells you good news, real good news, the kind you waited months for. And you hear yourself say the right thing, you make the right face, and somewhere behind your own eyes you're checking, because you feel almost nothing. It's not just the good news, the sad movie everyone cried at, the song that used to wreck you, the hug at the airport. You keep showing up to moments that should move you, and the feeling just doesn't arrive. You wait for it the way you'd wait for a train that was quietly canceled. So you start to wonder what that makes you. Cold, broken, secretly a bad person who's just good at performing a warm one. You've probably typed something like, "Why can't I feel anything?" into a search bar at 2 in the morning. And most of what came back said depression. Here's what almost nobody tells you. Numbness is not the absence of feeling. It's a defense against feeling. There's a difference. And the difference changes everything about what to do next. Nothing in you is missing. Nothing in you is broken. Somewhere along the way, your body decided that feeling everything was too expensive. So it turned the volume down, not out of weakness, out of protection. Imagine living your whole life in thick winter gloves. You can still hold things. You can carry your coffee, shake hands, get through the day. From the outside, everything works. But you can't feel the texture of anything. Not the warmth of the mug, not the grain of the wood, not the hand you're holding. The gloves protect you from every burn and every splinter, and they cost you every single texture of being alive. That's what emotional numbness is. Not empty hands. Gloved ones. The feeling is still under there. Your body is just keeping a layer between you and it. Because at some point, touching everything directly hurt too much. Your body doesn't do this randomly. It does it when feeling has been overwhelming for too long or unsafe for too long. And it doesn't ask your opinion first. The muting happens below the level of choice, in the same systems that run your heartbeat. There's a researcher named Peter Levine who spent 50 years studying how overwhelm lives in the body. His finding, over and over, is that the body protects itself from feelings it can't process, and it releases them only when it finally feels safe. Your numbness follows that exact logic. It's not a malfunction. It's a strategy. So here's the first thing it actually looks like. You've gotten very good at the right face. At the party, you laugh on time. At the funeral, you stand with the right stillness. When someone shares big news, you produce the exact expression the moment requires. It's not fake exactly. It's a performance your face runs, while the rest of you waits for a feeling that doesn't show up. You've done it so long you're not even sure anymore which expressions are yours. And performing it is exhausting in a way nobody sees. Everyone else gets to just have the moment. You have to build it by hand every time and hope nobody checks behind the expression. The second thing looks even more ordinary. Everything, apparently, is fine. Someone asks how you're doing and fine comes out before you've even checked. Not because you're hiding something, because when you look inside for the real answer, there's nothing specific to report, no signal. Just a kind of quiet static where the feeling should be. Fine isn't a lie. It's the most accurate word available for a channel that's gone silent. People who love you have learned to stop asking, not because they don't care, because fine is a wall with no door in it, and you built it so long ago you forgot it's there. The third one looks like the opposite of numbness. You chase anything that's loud enough to reach you. The spicy food, the freezing shower, the horror movie, the breakup song on repeat, the doom scroll at midnight, the argument you didn't need to have, the third espresso you didn't want just to feel your own pulse. Intensity gets through the gloves when nothing gentle can. That craving gets misread as thrill-seeking or self-sabotage. It's neither. It's a person who can't feel a whisper, turning life up to a shout just to confirm they're still in there. And the fourth one is the strangest. You're in your life, but you're watching it from the passenger seat. Whole weeks blur past like scenery. You did the work, sent the texts, made the dinner, but it feels like it happened to someone you were observing politely from a small distance. Your own memories come back like someone else's photos, technically yours, emotionally unclaimed. Sometimes it's sharper than that. A friend retells a story from your own birthday, and you find yourself nodding along like a guest. You were there. You have the pictures. What you don't have is the feeling of it, and without the feeling, it never quite files itself under mine. If you found yourself in more than one of these, that's not a diagnosis, that's a pattern, and patterns that protect you this consistently were built for a reason. If this is landing, take 1 second to like this video, because it tells the algorithm to show it to someone else who's been performing fine for years. So where do the gloves come from? Nobody is born numb. Watch any small child. They feel everything at full volume instantly with their whole body. Somewhere between that child and you, something taught your system to mute itself. Usually one of three things. The first root is simple. Your feelings were once too big for the room. Maybe big feelings got punished. Maybe they got dismissed or laughed at. Or they made an already stressed adult fall apart, and you learned your sadness was a burden someone else had to carry. A child in that room does the math fast. Feelings cost too much here. So the muting started early, as a kindness to everyone around you. You didn't lose the ability to feel. You packed it away so carefully that now years later you can't find where you put it. The second root is quieter. You survived a long emergency. Not always one big disaster. Sometimes it's years of low grade too much. The caretaking that never ended. The job that ate you alive. The relationship where you were always braced for the next mood. Feeling is expensive, and a body in a long emergency starts cutting costs. Numbness was the budget cut. Your system triaged, kept the essentials running, and shelved everything that wasn't survival. The emergency ended. Nobody told your body, so it's still down there, running the wartime budget in peacetime. The third root is the one that explains the most. The mute button was never selective. Here's the mechanical truth about suppressing feelings. You can't numb just the bad ones. The body has one channel for feeling, not two. Mute the grief and the joy goes down with it. Mute the fear and so goes the love. That's why you can't feel the good news. Not because you don't care. Because the same gloves that protect you from the splinters also stand between you and everything warm. One layer, everything muffled together. Which means the flatness you're worried about is not evidence that something is wrong with you. It's evidence that the protection is still switched on, and protection that's still on can be slowly and safely turned back off. So here's the first thing to actually do. Start where you are, not where the feelings should be. Stop running the test. You know the one. Watching yourself during the movie, the reunion, the sunset, checking whether you feel it yet, grading yourself when you don't. Every test tells your body it's being watched, and a watched system stays guarded. You can't audit yourself back into feeling. Instead, name what's actually there. Right now, I feel nothing. Say it without the verdict attached. Noticing the numbness on purpose without punishment is the first honest signal through the gloves. It counts. The second principle comes straight from the research. The way back in is through the body, not the head. You can't think your way into feeling. You've tried. But you can feel warm water on your hands. The weight of a blanket. Cold air in your lungs on a morning walk. Texture, temperature, weight. These are the body's original languages, and they're still fluent under the padding. This is exactly what Levine's work found. Sensation comes back before emotion does. You take the gloves off one finger at a time, starting with the physical world, because the physical world is the door the feelings originally left through. The third principle protects your progress. Let the small signals count. The feelings don't come back as a wave. They come back as almost nothing. A song that snags something in your chest for 2 seconds, a smell that makes you pause on the stairs, mild interest in something you used to love. It's tempting to dismiss all of it as not real feeling. Don't. Those 2 seconds are the whole beginning. When one arrives, notice it, name it, let it be small. A system that muted itself because feelings were dangerous needs proof that little ones are survivable before it risks the big ones. And the fourth principle is the deepest one. Safety turns the sound back on. Your body muted the world because some part of it still believes the emergency is on. So the real work isn't forcing feeling. It's ending the emergency. Rest that's actually rest. People you don't have to perform for. A pace your nervous system can trust. Feeling returns on its own schedule, but only into a life that's safe enough to hold it. And it does return. That's the part worth holding on to. The numbness was never the end of your capacity to feel. It was your body holding that capacity in trust, waiting for conditions it could believe in. People who come back from numbness don't come back as strangers. They come back as themselves with the volume restored. You were never cold. You were never broken. You were protected, longer than you needed to be, by a body that loved you clumsily and never once stopped working on your behalf. Understanding people like you is what still psychology is for. If you want more of it, subscribe, so the next video finds you when you need it. The feelings are still there. They always were. Under the gloves, your hands are warm. This is still psychology.